Seen why we use the SSIS, what are the things that we are going to do by using SSIS, right? So basically, what do you will be doing in the project? So basically, when you get recruited, they'll be asking you to do some projects, right? So what you will be doing there? Okay. So normally there will be different types of scenarios. Like there will be couple of say, things. Let's say they are having three different sources. Okay, they're having three different sources. Let's say they are having an Oracle source. Oracle, they are having something called MySQL. They're having some other SAP source. Like they are having some third party source. Okay, third party source. So what will be happening here? There will be managers or there will be some users who wants data from all the three sources. There will be some users who wants data from all the three sources. Now, if they so what they want is that they want to have all the three source data at one location, so that it will make the users easy to get all the three sources data from single location, right? Let's say if user want if use there is a user, because user doesn't know much SQL, right? So they want to they by using Excel you can connect to the databases. Okay, you can see here, by using Excel you can connect to a database. I'll just show you now normally. Yeah, it is taking some time. See, I can connect a database in Excel. So I'll just click a data. I'll click from other sources from SQL Server. So the server name is dot, right? It is on the local host. Next. See, I got couple of all the databases here. In the localhost whatever database I have, I can see the database here. Select that. So I'll get all the tables. Whichever table I want, I can select the table. Just say I'll select this one, company and pivot. Next. See, that's it, finish. I don't want in a, yeah, I just want a table. See, whatever the data is there in the table, you'll be getting here in the Excel. Okay, see. So if a business users wants to do anything with the data, so since they will not be knowing any queries, right? So there are different third-party tools for the business users to access the data and have a look at them. Okay, what business users will do is that they'll get a data and they'll pull the data. Normally, they'll pull the data into Excel or anything, and then they can visualize the data. Then they can visualize the data. That is the thing they do. So let's say if they have three sources. Okay, if they have three sources, so there will be Oracle, there will be MySQL, there will be third party. So now business users, in order to get information, they need to access three sources, which is quite difficult for them. So normally what they will do, and there are other scenarios also to this. I'll explain you when we go to the SSIS cubes. I'll explain you the other scenarios. This is only one part of scenario. So what generally the people do, so whatever the data we got in all the three sources, they load and keep in a single like centralized location. So this may be in the SQL server. Okay, this will be the SQL server. So what they do, they take the data from all the three sources and load into the SQL server, and the users will access the SQL server and do. So here there might be three different ways that there are different types here. See, the people because every department will own their own database. So let's say there is the Oracle people don't give access to us to get the data. So what they will be doing, they will just generate one flat file which will have the data. So we need to load that flat file into SQL server. So what Oracle will be doing, they will be generating a flat file, and that flat file we need to load into the SQL server. So because they don't want to give access to a database, so we'll be so whenever you want to have whenever you want to get the data from the Oracle, we'll request them and they will send a flat file and we'll load them. So MySQL, we can they might have given access to us directly, so you'll get the data from there directly. So from third-party tools. So depending on that, you'll be doing. So normally you have seen whenever I want to pull the data from a single source, right? Whenever I want to pull a data from a source, generally what I am doing, I'm always using one few things we have seen, right? Either a flat file connection manager or OLEDB connection manager, right? Okay, there are two things only we have seen. If you want to connect to the SQL Server database, we are using OLEDB connection manager. That if you want to get the data from the file, the text file, then we are using the flat file connection manager. But apart from this, there are many other sources. You can connect to you might be connecting to DB2, you might be connecting to Oracle. There are a couple of other sources that you need to worry. So what you will be doing whenever you get a different types of source, normally you might be knowing, many people they'll say ODBC connection. So what is ODBC connection means? I'll go to the search, I'll give ODBC. Set up ODBC 64-bit. When I click here, now it will ask me a server, then I'll add here, then I'll give the server name. I'll add the server name here, ODBC, because this package came later on. So okay. So what I will do when I click the ODBC connection, I'll get this one. So now give an add. Now it will ask me which type of connection do I want. See, I already installed MySQL, so you can see the MySQL. And if I want Oracle, I don't have Oracle, I need to install the ODBC driver for the Oracle. Since it is a MySQL, I'll select the driver. So when you install, then only you can see the drivers here. The same way RAM, whenever you install a software, there should be a driver installed, right? So if you want to connect to the Oracle, the driver should be installed on your machine. So when I install, I can see here. So let's say MySQL ODBC, finish. Now it will ask me the data source name. It will ask me this is the description that you can give. But you need to give the server name, user ID and password, and database which you want to connect here. That all things you can access from this place. Okay, then you will give the connection properties here and clicking cancel. So once you give, that properties will be added. So in the SQL server, I'm closing this. So in the SQL server, if you want to get that ODBC connection to the Oracle, so what you will be doing, go to the source like data flow task, click on this. Now you can see other sources. You will be having ODBC source. Drag and drop. When I click the ODBC source, now it will ask me connection new. When I click new, now it will connect to the drivers of my C. When I click new here, see, now it will ask me the drivers. So if I have any connections in the ODBC properties, then I'll get that connection here name. So then I can connect it here accordingly, and I can pull the data from that place. Okay. This is like one type of source. That if you want to connect to one source, then you will use the different ODBC connections. And if you want to connect to the Oracle, you can also use the ODBC. But in order to pull the data from the ODBC, it will be too slow. So what Oracle did is that they had introduced a new driver called Oracle Attunity. You will be calling it as Attunity driver. So what Attunity driver does is that, okay, the same way you got different source, right? ODBC source. When you install the Attunity driver, you will be getting when you install the Attunity driver, you will be getting as Oracle source here. When you install the Attunity driver, by default, you will be, so after installing, you can see one Oracle source here. The same like ODBC, you can see the Oracle source. Like different things. Once you go to the Google, you will be getting a couple of other options to pull the data from the different source. Basically, the majority of purpose, you will be using the ODBC connection manager for all of them. So now, we got data from 3 different sources. Out of the 3 different sources, we will not be having they will not give complete access to pull the data from the Oracle. So whatever the data we want, they will load into the flat file and give to us. So we'll take that flat file and load into the centralized database. So MySQL will access directly, and third party database or something other thing will access directly. So this is a normal way. Okay, this is a normal load. So here you will be capturing many things. After this, you will be doing many other stuff also. So what is the first thing? You need to capture error. What is error means? Okay, so I'll take this package one or something. Yeah. Oh. So package one doesn't have anything, right? Okay, so this is, see, truncate table, load into temp table. Okay, I am loading the data from source to a destination. Okay, I am loading the data from source to destination. So what I'll do here, instead of the select star, I'll just do the select star. So that I want to pull all the data, okay, from the source. Oh, I want to show what is the error handling. Okay, now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to see the destination, see the column properties. Okay, change date, SM amount. What is the data type for the currency? SID is an integer, 4-point sign integer. Okay, it is a 4 sign integer. So what I'll be doing for the SID, I'll take one derived column. Common. I want to show what is the error output or why we use them. I'll drag and drop the derived column. So now here I'll add one column called ID. ID DER. So here I'll give the name number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so it doesn't look like an integer, it is a big int. Okay, so what I need to do, Unicode WSTR. So what I'll do, I need to convert into the big int. Yeah, it is converted into the 8 sign, so it is a kind of big int. So what I'll do, I'll take this big int, connect it here. So instead of giving that ID, I'll just map this big int to that as ID. Simple thing. So we have covered this incremental package. So what I am doing while pulling the data from the source, okay, to show the error. So I am showing one by one. This is one step. If you want to capture any error, then how you are going to do. So what I am getting data from the source. The source is having, I am loading the data into destination. So destination, there is a column called ID which is of integer type. So what I am doing in between them, I am calculating my own derived column. I am giving it as a big int. Now I'll try to insert this big int into the integer column. I'll try to insert the big int value into the integer. Okay. Okay, it is not showing any error because even though I'm getting big int, but I'm trying to store into the data type which is of integer type. Okay, DT4 is an integer. So it will throw an error. Let's see. Let's run it and see whether it throws any error or not. See, it has thrown an error. What is the error? If you go to the progress, then see, because conversion failed. Okay, if I capture this message and paste it somewhere, it shows that the conversion has been failed. So if this is the scenario, so you'll see, always remember, whenever you load the data, you'll be getting many issues. It's not direct load. You may get some conversion issues, you may get some other things also. Okay, now see, when I try to, because you don't know what user is going to insert into that. Sometimes user might insert the correct data, sometimes he might insert some wrong data. Okay, now I copied that issue, I am pasted here. So after that, I'm just writing in the second line so that we can see the data. See, the column sharing conversion failed because the data value overflowed the specific type, because we are trying to load the big int into the small int. So big integer into the integer. Big integer is more values. You can't store the more size into the small size, right? That is the overflow issue. So it is asking me. So what I want to see. So if there is any error, then load the data. Okay, so now if they, like, while loading the data, if there is any error, then I want to capture them in the error output. So how to capture them? I'll just take this ID, or else one thing we can do. This is sales SQL Server source, right? We'll do this only. So what I'll do, I'll take one flat file connection manager. So whichever record has the issues. Now currently all records will have the issue because everything we are taking it as a DT as a big int, right? So, and that is a constant value for all the IDs. We are giving the constant value. So by default, all records will be rejected, right? So I want to capture that error record because none of the record is able to insert into the destination because of that overflow. Now what I'll be doing, I'll take the destination. So whichever the data has the error, while loading into the destination, if the record has any error, then I am capturing into this flat file. Okay, when I drag and drop, see, when I connect this error one, this red one is the error output. When I connect this error one, automatically I'll get a window by default. So what is asking is that, see, this is my source. If the component fail, what should I want? I want to capture the error. So that's the reason I'll give redirect row and click OK. So what happens? Whatever the records is not being not able to insert in this table, that all records will be redirected and I can capture in the flat file destination now. I'll name something. Just only one for time being. Columns. So it will show SID amount. Even it will show the error column, error output also. See, it will show me the error code and error column. Which column has the error? I'll click OK. Mappings. I'll done. I'll capture that into this file. Okay. And in order to view the data, I'll just right click here and enable data viewer. Now I'll execute this package. So what happens? Now instead of my failuring the package, see, the package runs successfully. Whatever the data it has error, okay, whichever the column has error, whichever the record has error, it is redirecting all the records to this file. See, when I close this, see, all 4 records went into the destination. You can see here. Instead of failing the package, whichever record has error, I am capturing them in the flat file destination. I am capturing them in the flat file destination. Are you able to get my point? Hello?
Yeah.
So what you will be doing here is that, okay, so normally generally this is the normal scenario. So what you will be doing here, you will use one record count. You will count the number of records that are being directed. So now after that, what you will be doing after that, you will create one send mail task and you will connect to the send mail task here. Okay, so what I will be doing here, I'll use one record count. You know, right, how to use a record count. It is a one type of transformation, right? Did I set this one to you? Hello? Row count. Did I say about this? Hello? Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
So here I'll create some variable and I'll store value into that. Currently I don't have any variables, right? I'll create some variable called test. Okay, and I'll store that value here, test. In the test, whatever the number of records I'm getting, so after rejecting, the rejected records will go here, and after I'm inserting into the flat file. So in the meantime, I'm counting the records by using the row count. So what I will do here, after using the row count, now here I'll create an expression. Success constraint, right? Here I'll give constraint and expression. I'll take here if that count is greater than 0. This is the condition I will be doing. Because the test will have the data, right? If the count greater than 0 means if there are more number of records, then I want to execute this send mail task. అర్థమైందా మీ అందరికీ? వినయ్ అండ్ కొండన్. అయితే మీరు ఏం చేస్తారంటే ఇప్పుడు ఇకో నాకు ఇప్పుడు ఎన్ని రికార్డ్స్ అవి రిజెక్ట్ అయినాయో ఆ రికార్డ్స్ నేను మధ్యలో రో కౌంట్ ద్వారా నేను కౌంట్ చేసుకుంటున్నాను. కౌంట్ చేసి ఆ డేటా ఫ్లో తర్వాత ఒకవేళ కౌంట్ గ్రేటర్ దెన్ 0 ఎప్పుడు ఉంటుంది? ఏమైనా రికార్డు ఎర్రర్ ఉన్నప్పుడే కదా గ్రేటర్ దెన్ 0 ఉంటుంది కౌంట్. అప్పుడు ఈ సెండ్ మెయిల్ టాస్క్లో మీరు ప్రాపర్టీస్ ఇచ్చుకుంటారు. ఇక ఓకే, మెయిల్లో ఇక్కడ మీరు మెయిల్ SMTP అవన్నీ కనెక్షన్ సెట్ చేసుకుంటారు. సెట్ చేసుకుని ఆటోమేటిక్గా అది ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతుంది అనమాట. అప్పుడు ఏంటంటే మీకు ఎర్రర్ రికార్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయా లేవో చెప్తుంది. ఓకే, ఇలా మీరు క్యాప్చర్ చేస్తారనమాట డేటాని. అంటే నాట్ ఓన్లీ లోడింగ్, you also need some other features along with the load. This is one kind of thing. So if there is any error in the data, if the data has any errors, this is a common thing. Whenever you load the data, there will be some issues in all. There will be some issues with the data, like conversion, like the user previously user there is a column called some id. Previously it is of integer type. Okay, there are a couple of things. So MySQL third party vendors, right? In the Oracle, they use the integer id as integer type. And the same way we have created the id as integer. But later on, after some days, what they did, because of the business requirements change or something, they changed integer to varchar. But they didn't inform us about this. They didn't inform us, stating that it has been changed. So normally what we do, we directly assume that as an integer and we load them. So at that time you'll get some issues. If you don't have here, because always when we create the package, you are going to automate the package, right? So how can you know whether the package has been failed or not? You don't know. It will, if you have some thousands of package, it will be hard for you to maintain which package has the error. So in that scenario, you will create this mail tasks or something. So accordingly, whenever the package runs, if there is any error, the package automatically sends an error to, like the package automatically says that okay, this is a, like here you can write a message saying that there is error in this package, please go and look, check. That's it. Here subject you will be writing there is an error in so and so package, please check that. Here you will give some, there will be some groups like production support, right? You will be giving their user IDs and automatically it will go there. Okay, this is a one type of scenario, like errors, how you are going to capture the error. Okay, and second one is a incremental, because you will be creating a package done, and after that you need to automate the process. When you automate from the MySQL to destination, you should get only the data which has been inserted, updated, not all the data, right? So for that purpose, as usual, I said the incremental long ago, right? So you will use the incremental concepts. Okay, and this is a simple load. Sometimes you might need to collect the data. So whenever you get the data from different sources, so in the Oracle, the cities might be California, CA. Instead of mentioning the California, they are given CA. In MySQL, they are given California. Okay, in third party, they might be given CA. So what you need to do whenever you load this all into the standardized one, you need to convert everything into the standard way. You need to convert all into CA, 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 or all into California, California, California. Okay, all should be same. That's the thing you need to do here. So that is the thing, you need to convert, or you need to make everything into a standard way. Okay, so there will be other things also. So you will be loading the data from year to year. Okay, so let's say Oracle is giving some flat file, so you load it. Oracle is giving some flat files and you load it. Now the scenario, let's say Oracle is giving some 10 flat files and you need to load all the 10 flat files. So for this you will be using the for each loop container. Okay, to load different files into a single table, you will be using the for each loop container. Next, so the users want to capture the date, capture the start time of each package. Whenever the package runs, right, you need to capture the start time for each and every package and how much time it is taking. At the same time, they also wants to capture the number of records that you loaded. You are loading some records into the tables, right? They want to capture the number of records you are loading into the tables. How many records are you loading? They want to capture that record count. So let's say I'm loading into the destination, right? I'm loading the data into the destination, source to destination. So I might load 10 records, I might load 30 records. How do I capture? By default, by using event handlers. You click on this, you'll go to the event handlers. On that, after that, this is a data flow task, right? It is a data in the executables. So this is a load into temp table. This is a data flow task. Click on this. Now after the temp table, you want to capture the record count. So what you will be doing? Simple thing. You will use a row count in between source and destination, and in the event handlers you will take that row count as an input and give so event handlers you will give some execute SQL task. Okay, so by using execute SQL task, you will take okay, by using execute SQL task, you will take the two row counts, and then accordingly you will take that input, you will take that two row count as an input for this execute SQL task, and at the same time, so in the execute SQL task you will create some procedure and you will pass the two row counts to the procedure. Automatically you will write some script where the two row counts will be inserted in some table, whichever you want, wherever you want to store. అర్థమైందా మీ అందరికీ? హలో, నేను మళ్ళీ చెప్తున్నాను. ఇప్పుడు బేసిక్గా నేను సోర్స్ నుంచి డెస్టినేషన్కి డేటా, ఐ విల్ బి లోడింగ్ ద డేటా ఫ్రమ్ సోర్స్ టు డెస్టినేషన్. సో వాట్ మై యూజర్స్ వాంట్ టు సీ ద total how many records you are loading, right? They want to capture that record count. So today I may get 1,100, tomorrow I may get 1,000, okay, like that. They want to capture all the record counts in some way. So what you will doing on this entire source to destination you will be creating in the data flow task, right? So you will go to the event handlers for the data flow task, and so what you will be in between source and destination, you will keep one row count, so that you will keep one row count and you will assign a variable. So whenever the package loads, the number of records it loaded, that will be stored into the variable. So now what you will do in the event handlers, you will create an event handler on post execute, means after the executing only, after the execution of this source and data flow task, then only the row count will be there, right? You will get the exact row count. So you will give it on post execute. On post execute, you will drag and drop the execute SQL task like this. So I'll go to data flow task on post execute, right? Post execute, and here I'll drag and drop the execute SQL task. So what I will do, so I'll just drag and drop the execute SQL. I got it. So what I will do here, I'll create some procedure. So in the execute SQL task, what I will do, so before going to execute SQL task, this is execute SQL task. Okay, so what I will do in the execute SQL task, before going to that, I'll create a procedure. Okay, or it depends. I create a procedure, there will be a table. The table will have the package name, it will have the row count, that's it. So here in the execute SQL task, I'll write insert into table. I'll give the table name, I'll give values. In the values I'll give package name and the record count, that's it, automatically. And I'll be passing that as a variables to the execute SQL task. So automatically that will be inserted into the table. I can also add some time also to the table, so that I can know when the records got inserted and what time. That all kind of things you will do. So it is nothing but the event handlers. You may need event handlers also, right? Okay, so these are the different kinds of things that you need to do. ఓకే, ఓడిబిసి ఎలా అంటే బేసిక్గా మీరు ఫస్ట్ ఏంటిదంటే, సపోజ్ వెన్ ఎవర్ యూ వాంట్ టు క్రియేట్ ఏ ఓడిబిసి కనెక్షన్, సో ఫర్ విచ్ వన్ యూ నీడ్ టు క్రియేట్, ఆర్ డూ యూ వాంట్ టు క్రియేట్ టు Oracle, or do you want to create to some DB2 database? So you need to know that. So accordingly, first you need to install the driver on your machine. After installing a driver, then you will go to the ODBC one. Okay, set up ODBC data source. When you click on ODBC, set up ODBC data source, then if you have installed the driver, then you would have seen the drivers list here. Okay. Since I don't have the driver, then I will not be seeing, sorry, you will not be seeing here. Since I want to add a new driver, right? Let's say I have installed some Oracle driver, let's say. So after that, I'll click on this ODBC, I'll get this screen. Here I'll click on add. When I click on add, whatever the drivers are there for different sources, I can see them here. If I have installed the driver for Oracle, then I will be seeing Oracle driver. Okay. Let's say it is MySQL, right? Let's assume this as Oracle driver. When I click on finish, then it will ask me the connection property, the server name, if it have any username or anything, then the database name. Then accordingly, you need to give it that one here. Okay? Okay. So after adding them, then automatically you can see the driver. Here the name. Yeah, చెప్తాను. ఇప్పుడు నేను DB ఎగ్జాంపుల్ MS యాక్సెస్ డేటాబేస్ ఉంది కదా, ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నేను యాడ్ చేశాను కాబట్టి ఆల్రెడీ బై డిఫాల్ట్ ఉంది కాబట్టి వచ్చింది. నేను ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తాను అంటే SQL సర్వర్లోకి వెళ్ళి I'll go to this one. I'll go to the OLEDB connection manager. ODBC source. ఇప్పుడు నేను ODBC source క్లిక్ చేసి న్యూ అని క్లిక్ చేశాను అనుకోండి, నాకు ఏదైతే యాక్సెస్లో ఉన్నాయో అవన్నీ నాకు వస్తాయి ఇక్కడ. MS యాక్సెస్ డేటాబేస్ చూసారా? అంతే. అలా మీకు వస్తుంది కాబట్టి డైరెక్ట్ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకొని మీకు నథింగ్ బట్ ఒక డేటాబేస్ లాగా అంతే. ఆ కనెక్షన్ని మీరు వాడుకోవచ్చు అనమాట ఇక్కడ. ఓకే, అయితే నీకు ఇది కావాలన్నా 3 సోర్సెస్ నుంచా? Basically, so what I'm repeating once again. So let's the user have 3 sources. One is Oracle, and there is a MySQL, and there is some third-party database. Okay, third-party means it may be Access, it may be some universe database. Okay, like different things. So what my scenario is that the end users want to they want to see the total sales for let's Oracle is for there's a USA is using Oracle database, India is using MySQL. The company has different location, let's assume. The UK is using some third-party data sources. India is using some MySQL, and USA is using Oracle. So what the users want, they want to see total sales for 3 countries, and they want to compare them. So in order to see the total sales for 3 companies, they want the data from these 3 sources, right? So let's say the user, if he wants to get the data from 3 sources, then you need to manually go and get the data from all the 3 sources. It will be very hard for him to do that, right? And you don't know, there may be some conversions he might be needed. Okay, let's say here it's storing California as a state, here it is storing California. If the user, see, it will be very hard for the user to convert them all. He will not be a technically good person, right? So it will be very hard. So what is our scenario is that we'll create the package, create connections for this all the 3 sources, and load them into one common centralized one. Centralized one means all the information, all the 3 sources information will be there in one location. That is the SQL server. Let's say it is a SQL server. So what the users do whenever they want to get the data from 3 things, instead of going each and everything, they'll directly get from this centralized one. So while loading the data into centralized one, you will be doing the incremental. Along with that, you will capture the error. Okay. So you also do some conversion. Like here you might be getting USA has different date conversion, India has some different date conversion, right? Data types. So they'll convert all the 3 dates into the standard one and load into the centralized, so that users will be able to access the data easily, and there will be not be much work for them to do, because everything you did as a converted, right? You converted and you did everything, so they will not be having any issue with that. Okay, because you are making their lives easy.
Okay.
Did you get my point? Yeah. This is a one kind of scenario. Okay, I'll just stop this.